Barack, Ahaya, Alam, Shalom, planet Earth. Welcome back to TRU-TALK. And I'm just back to say, I told you so. Yeah, I told you so. About 2 or 3 days ago, I did a video on Jah. And I told y'all not to believe the narrative. And I told y'all that the sports media, that Jah is the sports media new target. Now, I'm not going to be on here long, but let me just give y'all a breakdown and a rundown of what happened from my understanding for what I know. One day on Undisputed, they was talking about Jah and how it was reported that him and his friends got into it with a mall security guard. Now, to me, this is not a big deal because I'm a young black man, and I had got into a couple of times with the mall security guard because a lot of them be profiling, be following you around, and to the point where I really stopped going to the mall because every time I go, it seems like I get profiled and followed around and have to get up, have to, cuss this officer out and tell him to stop following me and leave me alone. But the officer says Jah and his friends threatening him. And of course, Jah and his friends said that's not what happened. There was more to the situation. But nevertheless, this was on Undisputed. I don't think it should have been up there. It's just, that's just how petty it is. A superstar getting into it with or a mall officer claiming that NBA superstar threatening him, but nevertheless, they was reporting on this incident, and this was the first time ever that Jah was ever in the news being reported about him getting in any type of trouble. I mean, this the very first time. Before this, they didn't report anything about Jah getting in any type of trouble with anybody. So this was the very first time they ever reported on a situation where Jah, quote unquote, seems to get into an altercation or trouble with, officers or whatever, or a mall cop. So what drew my attention was automatically the word thug start being used. Like, why you gotta use the word thugs and gangster? And Sham Sharpen was leading the pack, saying, "Bruh, you ain't hard. You trying to be a thug. You trying to be a gangster, and you gonna ruin your career." And I'm like, wait a minute, what did he do? Like, what's going on? Because this the first time this the first time anything ever been reported on this young man about anything, and it's nothing just as petty as a mall security guard, he say, she say. A mall security guard say him and his friends threaten him. Just as something as simple as that all of a sudden y'all saying he need to choose his friends carefully. He need to get a group of better friends. And this was the first time that, like I said, the first time that I had heard anything or that the sports center has reported anything on the job getting in trouble. In that first report, they already were painting a narrative about him going down the wrong trail. He being a thug, he being a gangster. I couldn't understand why was the word thug and gangster being used towards this young man when this was the first incident that they ever reported about him being in any trouble with anything. So I think it was a couple of days later, it might have been a week later, on Undisputed again. They talking about a young man allegedly says, I think they call him a teenager, but I think he was 17. They said this young man said Ja hit him and pulled a gun out on him. Now, first of all, you just don't hit nobody and put a gun out on them for no reason. So we don't, they don't give you any other details. They don't tell you what was the man doing the job. They don't tell you what was the situation. This is just this young man accusing Ja of doing this. So I'm like, okay, so this incident, and once again, this word thug and gangster being thrown around. But then I realized that this incident did not happen currently. That this was a year ago, this so-called happened. So I'm like, okay, so why are they reporting it on now? First they do a report about him and the security guard, and now they bringing up a case a year ago where he allegedly pulled a gun out on somebody and started hitting them. Now all this is allegedly. He had not been charged with anything or locked up with anything. So once I seen that, I made a video because I know how they do when they start going back a year or 2 or 3 years ago in your past and bringing up something that you might have done that somebody accused you of. When they start doing that, then it's a target on your back. They trying to, for whatever reason, they trying to ruin your career or make a zump out of you. Because there was no reason for them to go a year back and bring up this case. So people looking at this and they just reporting about this, you think this something fresh, something that just happened. And I did a video and I said, hey, they targeting Ja. They coming after him. And holy bemold, do you know, now they suspending him and said because he displayed a gun on video. Now, my first response to this was, so? See, I think sometimes we forget, because they program us so much and paint the narrative so much that they decide who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. Because, there was a picture going around the internet not too long ago. It was all on Facebook and everything of this man. He had 4 daughters. And his daughter was posing with AKs, machine guns, and hunting rifles. And these young 4 little white girls couldn't be, the oldest couldn't be no more than 11. And the youngest had to be, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6. But everybody was praising this picture. Talk about, he's a good father. He teaching his children gun safety. He teaching his children how to protect themselves, and he was getting praised for this. Nobody said thug, gangster. Nobody said, they posting with AKs, they posting with guns. So they think they gangster, they thugs. Matter of fact, you can go on YouTube right now and you got plenty of citizens, law-abiding citizens. They not superstars. They just everyday people with gun license making videos of them shooting at targets. Plenty of videos like this on YouTube. So what I'm saying is, it's not a crime to be seen with a gun on video, unless you're a felony. Unless you got a felon, you pose with a gun, yes, more likely you're gonna get locked up because as a felony, you don't supposed to have a gun. But Ja, a young man in the NFL, his record clean. Uh, More than likely, he got a gun license. He probably got plenty of guns. Being a young black man with the money he got in this wicked world, especially in this wicked country, United States, where everybody got guns, and guns are just a whole bunch of illegal guns just floating around. And I seen the video of the Instagram where he's hold the pistol up, and it's like, so he's got a gun. He showed a gun on his Instagram. That don't make him a bad person. That don't make him a thug or a gangster. That don't mean he's going down the wrong path, that he need to watch his friends. Because they was talking about Undisputed, Skip, Shannon was talking about, he need to choose his friends. And I'm like, why they talking about his friends when he accused? His friends wasn't accused of anything. Ja himself was accused of this. And like I said, it was a year ago, so they brought this case back up in the media light. For what? Why wasn't they talking about it a year ago? Because a year ago, they wasn't talking to Ja. But soon as the security guard accident happened, now he's a target. Now they did, what can we bring up? What can we bring up? Oh, this happened a year ago. Let's bring this back up. So now that happened, and now I'm telling y'all, man, y'all gotta read that book, $100 Slave. I think that's what it called, $1 Million Slave. Well, a football player, he wrote about that when you, a young black man, if you in the NFL or the NBA, that even though you got all this money, how these people have so much control over your life, where they dictate who you get to hang with and who you don't get to hang with, and how often you go out, and just everything about your life they want to dictate, and they'll make like they are keep an investment on their part, like basically you our investment, we gotta protect you, make sure you out of harm's way so you can keep performing and making us money. And he talk about how they even spy on people, how they if that you go out to a club or anything, and the next morning you come in and go to work, and they have a meeting and say, I suggest you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be at this club. You shouldn't hang with these people. And it's all about control. And I said it before, Ja, he just give me that, that energy, that feel that he's one of those people that he's gonna do it his way. Every now and then somebody come in the league where they say, I'm not gonna just walk on eggshells. I'm gonna do it my way, and that don't mean it's bad. They're not doing anything bad. They're just not buying into the system. They're just not doing it the way that the people upstairs, if you want to say, want them to be or behave. And these people become targets, and they become not liked. And so the man has not really done that. If you really look at it, what have he done? This whole year, what trouble has he been in? Besides that one incident, which is just small, just getting into it with it ain't even clear that they got into it. That's just an accusation. Well, the mall office says him and his friends threatened him. So that's about the only thing he done this year, and they may put that in the news. And then they bring up something that happened a year ago that he was accused of, but never was charged with. And then this, they find something, they looking for something because he's their new target. So anything, anything we can find on job that can, oh, he did an Instagram, he showed a gun, but let's suspend him for 2 weeks or 2 days or for 2 games. How you gonna suspend a grown man for having a gun, especially if it's his gun and he's got the license to the gun? It's not illegal to have a gun in America, because the narrative they painting is if a black man show a gun on Instagram or anything, then he's dangerous, then he's a thug, he's a gangster, he trying to be hard, he need help. And people are buying into this because guess what? They painting the narrative. They telling the story. And they gonna tell the story the way they want to tell the story. And they gonna make it sound the way they want it to sound. And they gonna paint the picture for you. And when you look at the picture, it's gonna look a certain way. And how it's gonna look against Jah. It's gonna look like, cause that's what they paint like this young man. He's out of control. He's out here trying to be a thug and a gangster. And first of all, in my opinion, you have no business even throwing them words around like thugs or gangsters. The young white players get in trouble, and they do a lot of times. Young white players get in trouble for assault or for carrying a gun, get caught with carrying a gun. First of all, they barely make the news. If you really in sports, the only way you'll find out if you read the sports news. They don't report that stuff on, especially if they're not a star. But then, and when these young white dudes get caught or get locked up for assaulting somebody or get caught with a gun, they don't say words like thugs and gangsters. So when it comes to our people, why are these words being thrown around, thug and gangster, and in the streets and trying to be hard? Why can't you just be a young man with a gun? Because a white person, just when they have a gun, it's no danger. It's just a white person with a gun. But what I gotta ask, what law did he break? What he been charged with? Oh, he showed a gun on Instagram. Y'all niggas never seen a gun? Y'all never been around a gun? Don't y'all know if you can get a gun, is if your record clean, get a gun license, you can get a gun. There's no crime or no harm in having a gun and showing a gun on Instagram or video. You go on Instagram like right now, and you can see people practicing shooting with guns. But the narrative they paint, that if it's a young black man with a gun, no, he's dangerous. He's going down the wrong path. A black man ain't supposed to have a gun. A black man ain't supposed to protect himself. A black man ain't supposed to be seen with a gun on Instagram, because that means he's thugging. That means he's a gangster. That means he's a criminal. That means he's heading down the wrong path. And then the audacity for them to speak on his family, his daddy, and to assume that his daddy is not doing his job as a daddy. His daddy is being more of a friend. Like little stuff like this. And this is what this is supposed to be Sports Center. We're supposed to be talking about sports. But, and then y'all know who's leading the pack. Y'all favorite uncle, Shannon Sharpen. Y'all can't see Uncle Tom a mile away. I mean, y'all can't see, y'all don't know he's a house nigga by now. Just look at who he date. The man hate himself. He's proud. And you gotta understand, a lot of these dudes, they talk black and act like they for the black community. But look at who they date. Look at the things they say, and we get all gassed up because we think we got somebody representing for us. You know, I ain't got nothing against Shan Sharpen, but it's easy to see that he's sold out. He's loving this America sweet bread they giving to him. You know, he's just playing his part. He's not woke. He's still in the matrix. You know, there are some people that do things intentionally, and I don't think Shan is intentionally being a Uncle Tom. I think he's just caught up in the matrix, and he's not woke. He's buying the narrative. Just like when Kyrie got in trouble, he never seen the movie, but because they say it's anti-Semitic, he talking about, like, the young man Kyrie done nothing wrong. How about we challenge the movie, have a real conversation and debate about it? Instead of just saying, oh no, it's wrong, misinformation. Okay, prove that it's misinformation. What y'all giving is misinformation. But I'm going off on another topic, but the point that I'm making is so many people that's caught up in this matrix that don't have a spiritual eye, they're going to be buffooned by the monkey show, by the lights and camera. They're going to be deceived. You know, a young man wrote me on the last video, and that's what really prompted me to do this video, was the last video I did about Jock. I didn't know anything about Jock showing a gun on the video until he did a comment, and this, you know, he had a black picture, so I'm assuming he was a black male, but, you know, nowadays we got a lot of catfishes on the internet, but this seems to be a black male made a comment and says, I can't say nothing now since he been caught with a gun on Instagram. Now it's him being irresponsible and getting himself in trouble. And I'm like, wait a minute, he being caught with a gun on Instagram? He being irresponsible? And all these videos being made about, oh, he throwing his career down the toilet. Oh, for having a gun? That's how you throw your career down the toilet? Like, is it illegal to have a gun? Is it illegal to show a gun on video? Apparently, if you're a Negro, it is. Because white people do all the time, like I say. Just type up YouTube or people shooting guns. Are they losing their job behind that? Are they saying they need help because they on YouTube shooting guns? They not just showing guns, they shooting it. But he just flashed a gun and, oh, he got caught with a gun. He's not in trouble. It's not a crime to have a gun. But when you're a black man in America, if you got a gun on Instagram, you a thug, you up to no good, and we gotta suspend you for 2 games, even though it's not a crime, even though you didn't broke no crime, commit any crime, even though you didn't broke no law, even though you did nothing wrong, we gonna paint the narrative as if you going down the wrong the route, and, you know, we need to help you out, young man. Because like I said, Jah is one of these, you know, was, even when it comes to the dancing, you know, the little dance that he do, and have his little daughter even doing the dance. Look, low key, those people don't like that. They don't like a black man with confidence. They don't like a black man showing that type of attention and being him. No different than Ali, you know, or Albert Iverson when he came in the league, how he was painted to be the bad guy. And they'll try to break people, and, you know, but not trying to get too deep. I hope I said enough to get your eyes open. I hope I said enough to make you think outside the box. Don't just eat what they feeding you. Ask what they feeding you, where it come from, and why are they feeding you this. If you got a strong mind and your spiritual eye open, and you know the agenda, and you know you done escaped from the matrix, and you know how they do things, and you know what's going on here, and you can see the case is really weak. Y'all really hadn't done anything, but let's suspend for 2 games, and let's throw around the word thugs and street and trying to be hard. Because anytime you see a black man with long hair or have a gun, this is what we want you to think. Till next time, Shalom.